Your live Weather Authority coverage starts right now.
Hi everyone, welcome to the live stream. I'm going to be breaking down the storm that is moving through this evening and overnight. I'm going to get right into it. Again, we're breaking down the storm that's moving through this evening and overnight. If you take a look at our current satellite and radar loop, you can see that clouds. Oh wait, let me actually pull it up for you guys. There we go. All right. Now, if you can look at your satellite and radar loop, you can see that clouds are starting to make its way across the state of Maine, fully have already covered the state of New Hampshire, and you can see an outer band of some snowfall that started to make its way through New Hampshire but has dissipated. And let's take a zoomed out look at where the system is right now. You can see that it made its way through New York and is currently headed through Vermont. It actually produced some pretty heavy snow bands moving through parts of Western New York earlier this morning. I was keeping my eyes on that today. And as it makes its way across the Great Lakes, it continues to push its way through the Northeast. And that is what we are tracking for the overnight hours tonight. Let's go ahead and look at some watches and warnings that have been issued for the area. We have winter weather advisories that are in effect for the purple counties you see on your screen, issued by the National Weather Service. These go into effect at 7 p.m. this evening and last through 4 p.m. on Wednesday. There are winter storm warnings in effect for the pink areas you see on your screen. That's for southern Penobscot County, Hancock County, and Washington County. Those are winter storm warnings, and those areas have the best chance of seeing over 5 inches of snowfall. And these go into effect around the same time this evening and last a bit longer through 7 p.m. on Wednesday. And I'll explain exactly why that those are in effect for much longer. And let's get right into it. So we are expecting snow to begin across the western part of the state around 6 to 8 p.m. tonight. The sweet spot probably around 7 p.m. And it's going to last until or right before daybreak on Wednesday. Some areas will see snow for longer, and that's going to be areas in the mid-coast and down East Maine. The precipitation with this will be snow. It's not going to be super fluffy like we've seen in the past, and it's not going to be super wet either. It's going to be a packable snow, something in the middle where you can make snowmen and snowballs, things like that. So it's going to be a bit sticky. Or no, excuse me, it's not going to be too sticky. It will be packable, is what I'm trying to say. Let's take a look at some snowfall totals. This is what we are expecting for the system moving through this evening and overnight. We're going to break it down hour by hour as well. But here's just a first glance at the snowfall. 3 to 6 inches is going to do it for pretty much everybody. I can see areas like Rangeley and points north maybe are on the lower end of this amount, maybe around 2 inches of snowfall, but 3 to 6 will do it for mostly everybody. If you are places in the mid-coast area or down East Maine up through Bangor and places in Penobscot County, or at least in the southern half, you guys are expected to get 4 to 8 inches of snow because the heaviest bands are going to set up there for the longest amount of time, which means you will see snowfall for a bit longer than the rest of us. If you are in central or southern New Hampshire, 2 to 4 inches are expected for you guys, and that goes for extreme points north and northern Maine or Aroostook County. You guys are expected 2 to 4 as well. You could see a little bit less. Let's break this down hour by hour. This is around 4:30 p.m. on our storm tracker this evening. You can see that clouds are continuing to increase across the state from west to east, and you can also see that the forward leading edge, didn't mean to grab an arrow. The outer leading edge is starting to make its way through Vermont and is starting to make its way through New Hampshire. At this point, it's around 4:30. And then as we move forward around 7 p.m. tonight, that's when we're going to start to see snow fall across the state of Maine, maybe even a little bit sooner than that, 6 or 7 o'clock tonight. And this is going to be a relatively quick system that's moving through, and it's going to be sort of a thump of snow that falls right at the beginning. That's when we're expecting the heaviest amounts of snow to fall, is in between 7 p.m. tonight and around midnight tonight. That's when we're going to see the most of our snow accumulation. So you definitely don't want to be on the roads after 7 p.m. tonight, you are going to see some pretty high snowfall rates of possibly over an inch an hour. This is around 11 p.m. on your storm tracker tonight. You can see most of the state has some steady snow falling, with areas of the darker blue indicating some more moderate snowfall. And you can see areas in the Fragberg area. And let me grab my marker here. These areas are already starting to lighten up as you look at our storm tracker through 11 p.m. And it's because a lot of dry air is going to be infiltrating the system from the from the west, and it's going to make our snow start to break up. And here it is exactly 3 a.m. on Wednesday. So overnight tonight after midnight, you can see that the majority of the snow has already moved past the areas like Portland and Lewiston, Freiburg, and it has completely stopped snowing at this point. Areas of exception will be down East Maine and mid-coast Maine, where we're expecting additional accumulations for those areas and some more higher snowfall totals. And you can see if we keep moving here that the snow will stick around for areas of down East Maine and points north as well. We might even see some sunshine tomorrow. If you are in parts of southern Maine and far western Maine, we could see some sunshine tomorrow, but overall it will be mostly cloudy. This is around 10:30 a.m. Wednesday. Some school delays could be possible with this. However, it is stopping relatively early before daybreak, where I do not see many school cancellations happening. It's just going to be a lot of snow all at once, pretty much before midnight or maybe just after midnight. And we could see some lingering snow flurries throughout the day, but it's mostly going to be confined to mid-coast and points east. As you can see here, we have some more lingering snowfall through the Bangor area and parts of down East Maine. And we can keep going here, and it's going to dissipate by the time we wake up Thursday morning, but it's going to be long gone well before that for most of the state, except for down East Maine. Here's another look at our snowfall totals, 3 to 6. Again, we'll do it for the majority of the state. That includes areas like Sanford, Portland, Lewiston, Augusta, Sebago Lake area up through the mountains of Rangeley and Greenville. However, if you are north of Rangeley, you could see, I'm thinking maybe the lower end of the 3 to 6 and potentially just a tad under 3. But overall, 3 to 6 will do it for a lot of us. If you are on the mid-coast or down East Maine up through Bangor, 4 to 8 inches is what we are looking at for you guys, since you guys will hold on to snow much longer than southern Maine and central Maine, and the snow bands will set up right around where you guys are. Now let's look at some travel impacts, because travel will definitely be impacted through the timing of the system. So starting from 6 to 8 p.m. tonight, that's when it's going to start to make its way through the western part of the state. That's when travel is going to start to decrease as far as drivability. In the evening, we're expecting moderate to maybe high travel impacts. But again, if you are home before 6 p.m., that is good news. Anywhere after maybe 6:30, 7 p.m., travel could become more difficult, and especially in the hours before midnight or maybe before 1 a.m. are going to be tricky, since we are getting that pretty hefty thump of snow right at the beginning of the system. And that's when the majority of our snow is going to fall, is before midnight. It's when it's going to be heaviest. And then it's going to start to lighten up a bit across a lot of the state, except for areas down east. As we look at travel impacts for Wednesday, even though snow is going to be ending or has already ended for the majority of the state, we are going to be left with a messy cleanup for Wednesday morning. And that's just due to the amount of snow that we see in the short period of time before Wednesday morning. So the plows will definitely still be out there Wednesday morning picking up the snow. You'll definitely have to clean up the driveway if we get the 3 to 6 inches, and then conditions will start to improve as we head through the afternoon hours and even into the evening. I debated putting a moderate travel impact for the evening, especially for areas along mid-coast and down east. Like I've been saying, you guys, your travel impacts will definitely last longer than the afternoon, since snow will continue to fall through the afternoon for you guys. And if we look at the next 3 days, sort of to wrap up today, we did see some sunshine this morning, and clouds are starting to increase. Some of you still have some sunshine out there, but overall, our highs today were in the low 30s. In my opinion, we're actually pretty nice compared to the temperatures we've had over the last several days, even the last week. And if you follow Charlie Lepresti on Facebook, he made a post yesterday that stated that this has been the coldest winter in 30 years, I believe. And so I've definitely been feeling that. It's been a very cold winter, and you can even tell by the snow that we've been seeing how we haven't really had a mixed precipitation event since December. In December, we got some ice events, some mixed precipitation, some rain along the coast. And then after December, we had that nor'easter in January, and January was pretty cold. Same with the start of February, and we haven't had any mixed events since then because it's been so cold. We've just seen honestly some purely snow events. Thursday, we are going to wake up with partly sunny skies, and it will be breezy throughout the day as the low pressure starts to make its way further off to our east. The atmosphere has to compensate for that, and the atmosphere will equalize as windy conditions. That's how that happens. Then high pressure will come in and leave us with some warming conditions. And I have our temperature outlook from February 15th through February 19th. There it is. And we are expecting above average temperatures for the day, or excuse me, not for the day, for at least I'm hoping a week span starting February or Valentine's Day weekend. We could see our temperatures approach the upper 30s by this Sunday, which is good. I'm personally very much looking forward to the warmer temperatures. And you can even, see that through the next couple of days as well as we approach the mid 30s by, I believe, Friday. So that's good news. And I'm going to put our snow map back up, and we can actually, you know what? Look at the 7-day forecast real quick before I end on the snow map. Let's take a look at the coastal 7-day planner real quick. Let's see if that loads. There we go. All right, so we do have the weather warn in effect. It's in effect through the evening hours tonight and into the morning on Wednesday. Snow is going to wrap up pretty early for mostly everybody, except for down East Maine and portions of Mid-Coast Maine. It should be wrapping up relatively early before daybreak on Wednesday, and we may even see some sunshine, some of us, not all of us, but overall it'll be mainly cloudy. And again, our temperatures will climb into the mid-30s. And we've got partly sunny skies, but breezy conditions for Thursday. Friday, we're left with lots of sunshine. And as we head into Valentine's Day weekend, we'll have plenty of sunshine. It's actually looking to be a pretty nice weekend. Lots of sunny skies with our highs in the mid to upper 30s. And then our Weather Authority team has been tracking the potential for another storm on Monday of next week. This is pretty far out at this point. The models are in much disagreement for track and things like that. So we are keeping our eyes on that one. Let me put the snow map back up, and I'll see if I can answer any questions in the comments real quick. All right, there's your snow map for you. Let's take a look at some comments. Travis says, hi, Hannah. Hi, Travis. Hope you're doing well. Alan says, happy Tuesday. Connor asks, will it be heavy and wet? So no, it's not going to be super wet. Our temperatures for the morning and the overnight hours are going to hover in the upper 20s near 30 degrees. And so this means our snow isn't going to be super wet. If we were above 32 degrees, then I would expect more of a sticky, wet snow. But since we are in the upper 20s, we're going to see somewhere in the middle between fluffy snow and wet snow, more of a packable snow. So I don't expect it to completely stick to everything as it falls. It could definitely stick to some surfaces like power lines and tree limbs, but not as bad as if it were a super wet snow. So it's going to be somewhat of a normal snow. Thanks, Aaron. Aaron's loving the snow and the info. I hope you're getting a lot of snow in Iowa. I'm not sure how much you guys have been getting, but let's see. She also asks, do you expect any heavy delays? Any real delays, maybe? School delays are definitely possible in the morning. I'm not expecting many school cancellations out of this because it does wrap up pretty early in the morning on Wednesday before daybreak for most areas. And if it were lasting between the day or throughout the day, I could definitely see some more cancellations possible, but delays are definitely possible out of this. Connor is asking about the power outage threat chance due to snow and wind. Let's take a look at the wind map just for you. Pull up our wind tracker. And let's see where we are. Let's go back to, all right, so this is Tuesday around 2:30. I do not believe wind is going to be too much of an issue with this. Oh, wow, we're going fast. Let me take it back a little bit. This is around midnight tonight, and winds are gusting around 20 miles per hour with the system. Again, these are gusts, not sustained wind speeds. Sustained wind speeds, I believe they're 5 to 10 miles per hour. But power outages are definitely possible, but I don't think we are in a threat for any severe power outages or any severe, they're not going to be widespread is what I'm trying to say. Aaron wants to look at travel delays. Yes, I will get into some more travel delays for you. So this is what we have been discussing. We are expecting the snow to begin in the late evening hours tonight between 6 and 8 p.m. And it's going to be a thump of snow that falls at the beginning of this event. So the majority of our snowfall is falling before midnight. So that means our commute for the late evening could definitely be tricky and challenging, and especially overnight tonight, as the plows need to get out there quickly and plow up what they can, but the travel will definitely be impacted and be pretty slick through the late evening and overnight hours tonight. And now if we look at the travel impacts for Wednesday, although the snow will be stopping in the morning on Wednesday, we will still see some moderate to high travel impacts in the morning. And then we're going to start to improve. Our traveling conditions oh my gosh. My words today. Travel conditions will improve as we head through the afternoon and evening, unless you are in Mid-Coast or down East Maine, especially down East Maine. You guys could hold on to snow for much longer during the day. And, sorry. Could we see less snow in some areas? I see 1 to 3 expected in Gray, New Gloucester. So I have been seeing that as well. We definitely could see some areas that get on the lower end of 3 to 6 and possibly around 2 inches. I also saw that for areas points north of Rangeley as well. There are some areas that could see a little bit less, but we are thinking that 3 to 6 will do it for mostly everyone. How much in the Saco Biddeford area? So you guys are falling into that 3 to 6 range. All right, so I'm going to end it here. I hope everyone has a fantastic evening, and make sure you are driving slow if you have to be out past 7 p.m. tonight, and take it slow and give yourself some extra time in the morning tomorrow as well. I know I will as I head off to work. And that's really it. There's nothing that we can't handle. We've seen a lot more snow than this winter, but this is one of your classic snowstorms that are moving through. It's a clipper system. It's not a nor'easter, and is going to be a packable snow. I think skiers will be very happy with this, and the kids will be happy too, as they'll be able to make some snowmen. As the last system we saw, you couldn't really make snowmen because it was a very fluffy snow. All right. I hope everyone has a great evening, and I will see you next time.
This has been live interactive Weather Authority coverage from CBS 13 and Fox 23.